Hello everybody, and welcome to episode number 15 of my 0 to 100 mil pay-to-pay flipping series. Today we are starting about 17 mil. Now we're down to 14-ish, because we just have to buy a bond actually, because our membership is about to expire. Because again, we are renewing our membership only with money we earned through bonds. Anyway, yeah, so we're starting about 17.7 mil. And yeah, I apologize this took so long to get out, but hopefully we should be releasing these a bit more frequently now. And yeah, let's jump into it. Okay, so I think we may actually flip these emeralds. They have about almost 100 GP margin on it, more like 75 actually, which is pretty good for a free-to-play item and this price. So we'll go ahead and buy maybe 4,000 or something. I think that's the limit anyway. Next up, you can see quickly there the Mithril Ore actually had an 8 GP margin, which again is a free-to-play item, is pretty decent for the price. So we'll go ahead and buy 13,000 of these, I guess. Again, a full buying limit's worth. I would recommend the Mithril Ore. I mean, I have already. But yeah, definitely works pretty well for free-to-play. And last up here, I think we're going to do the raw monkfish. Actually has a 12 GP margin on it, which is really good actually for this item anyway. So we're going to go buy it for 436, and we'll get probably like 8,000 or something. Not quite. We'll do like 7,500 or something, or 7,000 is good. Okay, so everything has sold. We did pretty decent on the Mithril Ore actually. We got a 20 GP margin on that, which is pretty insane. And 12,000, that gives us about 240k profit from that. The emeralds, we got 27 on each, but only got about 2.6k of those, giving us 75k from that. The monkfish, we got a 9 GP margin, I guess, yeah. And 7,000 monkfish gives us about 63k. In total, we're kind of looking at about 275k. That's not too bad, some steady progress anyway. So because of how well that worked, I think we're going to try the Mithril Ore again. Getting like almost 250k from an item like this is pretty insane. So we'll go buy another 12,000 Mithril Ore at 344 each. So next up, the Gold Amulet Unstrung has a 8 GP margin on it. So we'll go ahead and try to buy some of these. I think the buying limit's actually like, we'll go for 12,000 actually. And next up we'll do some Zolver Scales. I think it has a 4 GP margin on the Zolver Scales. So we can do 20k of those pretty easily. I think we can afford that. Yeah, we should be fine. But yeah, getting about a 4 GP margin on Zolver Scales is actually really good since they flip so quickly. And next up, the Cannonball has a 4 GP margin on it, and again, very frequently traded item. We're going to try out some more of these types of items soon, I think. But yeah, 5 GP margin on this is pretty nice. And I think the buying limit is definitely over 10k. I'll have to quickly check. Looks like it's actually less. We're going to do 6k. So everything I've sold, and we kind of lucked out on all of it because most of it went up a little bit actually. If we start with the item that made us the least amount of money, let's see, that would be the Cannonballs, I guess. They had a 13 GP margin on them, and 6,000 of those gave us a 78k. The Zolver Scales had a 4 GP margin, and 30k of those gave us 120k. And the Gold Amulets had a 13 GP margin actually, and they had 12,000 we managed to buy, giving us about 156k from that, which is pretty awesome. The Mithril Ore, again, managed to get 34 GP margin on the Mithril Ore, which is insane. We only got about 3k of those, giving us about 114k. So pretty nice. So in total, we probably got, I don't know, close to 300k. So again, more steady progress, and any of these items could be done by anybody pretty well. All really popular, but just happen to have pretty good margins on them. Okay, so let's do some new items. Okay, so I think we're going to do the Cannonballs again. They had worked pretty well last time, so we'll do 10,000 more Cannonballs. So we might do the ranaar weed. I mean, it only has a 100 GP margin in it, but should trade pretty quickly. We're going to look at it again. Yeah, I think we're going to go for the grimy ranaar because it had a little bit of a better margin. And I don't know, we'll probably buy 1,000 or something of these. We'll use the rest of our money for the most part. But yeah, we'll have to see how this works. The first time kind of trying this item. So the ranaars actually worked pretty well, even though we only got about 1,500 of them. That still gave us about 180k in profit because we got a 121 GP margin on that. It was pretty expensive to buy all that, but still, pretty decent profit. And the Cannonballs, we got 9 each on, and 10,000 of those gives us about 90k. And yeah, so not too bad. But we'll go try to get some other items, I think. Okay, so the Dragon Axe actually has a 7k margin on it, which is pretty awesome. So we'll go ahead and do that. 7,000, if we get the full bind limit's worth, will be like pretty good. That'll be like 500-600k if we actually get the full amount. So hopefully we do, and yeah, we'll come back when that has sold. Okay, so we are back, and we have managed to sell everything pretty well. The Dragon Axes actually gave us a pretty good profit. A little messy because we sold them in 2 different chunks, but in total we made 406k off of the Dragon Axes, which is awesome. The Snapdragons, we got 102 on each, and 400 of those gives us 40k only. But the Cannonballs, we actually got 9 on each one, and 14k of that gives us 120k from Cannonballs, so pretty decent. In total, we probably got 600k or something, which is pretty awesome. The Dragon Axes have worked quite well there, so we might actually try those again sometime. So we just did a quick calculation for crystal keys, and it looks like we're actually going to get more than 2k on each one if we combine them right now. So that's a good opportunity to go buy them, because for every 100 keys I make, that's 200k, which is pretty sweet. So we'll go ahead and probably buy pretty much our entire cash stack worth of the component pieces. Yeah, we'll get maybe a little more than 300. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we can only afford 300, but we'll have to double check this. Okay, looks like we're actually going to do 400. Looks like we can afford it. Yeah, 400 of each should be good. And assuming all goes well, that should be 800k. Okay, so we are back, and we managed to combine 300 keys. Not quite 400, but that's still the majority, which is nice. And we still made I think we still got about a 2k margin, actually, because we got about 581k from the keys. You can see me kind of calculating it in the background, and we got 300 keys, so that would kind of add up. So 500k from the crystal keys brings us to about 17.2 mil or something. Eventually I do claim all these items, but yeah, 17.2 mil, and while we did start at about 17.7 mil, so there's a 500k loss technically right now, but we did buy a bond for 3 mil. So throughout the episode, I think we made actually between 2 and 3 mil, probably like 2.5 roughly, which is pretty good considering none of these items were kind of like outstanding. They're just like a big compilation of decent items that you could flip over and over again. Anyone could really do. So it's kind of nice to see that you can make progress even with kind of normal items. But yeah, I think that's what we're going to call it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in episode 16.